Great Scott! Back to the Future Part 3 is kind of interesting to me because I really didn't really know how I was going to feel about this one because, like, it's weird. I watch Part 2 and Part 1 all the time. I don't really watch Part 3 that much. I don't know why. I just don't connect with it as much. I did connect with it a lot more this time. I thought there was definitely some fun to be had here. And I think what it is I think, like, while it doesn't bother me in 2 doesn't continue the themes of the franchise a lot. It does a little bit with Marty, it being about Marty's kids and, generations and things like that. Part 3 really doesn't do that. It's a very Doc Brown focused story about him being lost in the pound. He's not a fucking dog. Past. Being lost in the past. That's the word. Um, and Marty having to go back to the Old West to go rescue him and stuff. And then you find out that he's, in the past falls in love with this girl, which I really like their relationship because you see why that happens. Like, ordinarily, Doc Brown would never let that happen. He's a very, in these franchise, in the whole franchise, he's very much stick to the rules of time travel, that sort of thing. And, while they do break them, you understand why they break certain rules and things like that in the past and through the timeline and things like that. But for the most part, like, you don't think he would normally do that, but he falls in love with this girl, and you get why, because she's a very, like, the character herself is a very intentional girl or woman who's like way ahead of her time. She's a very intelligent spoken person. She likes to read things like that, things that were not common for women to do back in that time period. So that was interesting to me to see that happen, in the story, right? And so I like that. And it's a fun Western movie. It's got a great atmosphere to it. I think where I just don't connect with it that much is just how little it continues the themes. Yeah, we see Marty's relatives, but they don't feel like a very important part of this movie. And I feel like, it's lost some of its wit and charm a little bit. Not a lot. Like, it's still a good movie. I would still give this, like, okay, the first 2 are A pluses. This is an A minus, basically. That's how I would rate this movie. But I feel like there's just something missing from it. It's hard to describe what it is, and maybe this is the movie that just shows me why you could make another Back to the Future. I would watch another Back to the Future. I think everybody would if they made another one. But also, I don't know if you could really capture the lightning in the bottle of these first 3 movies. And it's just, yeah, it's beautiful. I don't know. It was a great closeout to the trilogy while not being as great as the other ones, but it's still beautiful in its own right. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. And stay tuned for more reviews coming your way. I should have a review for a comic in Dark Man 3 coming your way soon.